But finding a job, if you are in the market for one right now, or the right job anyway, might be really difficult for you, especially with a changing landscape out there. Joining us to talk more about that and how you can stay competitive in this market is Will Anderson, the editor-in-chief of the Dallas Business Journal. Will, thanks so much for being here.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Now, anybody who's been through this knows already, if you're in the job search right now, it's already stressful enough.
Yeah.
But then there's new fears relating to AI potentially taking jobs, and we've been seeing that happening in some cases.
Yeah, those numbers you just referenced are good. That's a good sign, but it's still hard to find a job in a lot of cases, depending on your personal situation. As a business journalist, people ask me, I'm looking for a job, what should I be doing? Or I've got kids, what should they be studying when they're going out there? At the same time, I hear from a lot of CEOs, business leaders who are saying, my top priority is finding people. It's hard right now. So there is a mismatch between the jobs that, the skills that are needed by employers and what people, what employees have to offer. Luckily, there's a lot of organizations out there doing a lot of work on that front. And yeah, those numbers are good to see.
It's weird that because you do kind of bridge that gap in between, and you're hearing it from both sides. People who are desperate to find work and can't seem to, but so many employers who say we just can't find the kinds of employees that we need right now. So if you had to say, is it hard to find a job in Dallas right now?
The good news is in Dallas and DFW more widely, there are a lot of companies moving here. There's companies already here that are just growing and hiring. So that's a good thing. But yeah, there's this mismatch, and if you don't have the right skills that they're looking for, yeah, it can be a challenge.
But so part of this is that we have to morph everything here. So are we looking at changing the process on how people find a job?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of progress on that being made. The schools, universities are thinking about that. Dallas College, of course, does a lot to connect people to careers. I was at a luncheon yesterday where the United Way was talking about their Pathways to Work program, which is this initiative to really get the employers to buy in and communicate those skills that they need directly to people, and then work with the nonprofits to make sure people are skilled up in that. And they are looking for that employer, that corporate support, and they've got a lot of partners so far. Just yesterday, they announced a $5 million donation from Vistra Corp, big power company, and $1 million from Fifth Third Bank. So there's a lot of corporate support building behind it. I think it could be, could have a lot of good to come out of that.
That's a good point too about getting the employers. Hey, tell us, who are you looking for? What skills are you looking for, so that people can kind of tailor that. And I know there are a lot of parents out there who would go let me know that so that I can, lead my child in the right direction.
Absolutely. And Jim Burke, the CEO of Vistra, was talking there, and it was very interesting to hear him talk about the need for skilled workers, right? They're a power company. They need people to maintain and operate these power plants and utility lines and things like that. When we talk about AI and all this digital stuff, that's the physical infrastructure that all these things are built on, and that's still very much in need. And you can graduate out of high school now and go into apprenticeship or otherwise go to work in the skilled trades and be making $50,000, $60,000 with no college education. So I know it's talked about, I know you've talked about the importance of the trades and a good option, that's a good option for people who might not want to go to college, but emphasizing that is important. And yeah, it was good to hear that.
Yeah, I was just speaking at a Dallas Builders Association luncheon the other day about this very thing, and they said there are jobs out there that are paying these people before they even, and they're being trained for free, and before they're even done with the training.
Yep, yeah, you get paid to work.
It's pretty astounding that what's available out there. Okay, so last question for you here. People who are looking for a job, obviously they're trying to find the highest wage job possible. Okay, what needs to happen for people to be able to connect with those jobs as they're looking out there? You mentioned there's a lot of organizations that try to help too.
Yep, United Way working with its nonprofit partners, plenty of other organizations, schools. I think the skilled trades are a great alternative for people. But even if you're just out of work or looking for a better job, there are a lot of options out there, and you got to do your research. I know that can be hard sometimes, but there are options out there. Go to Google, and Google offers certificates for, you do $50 a month or something like that. 6 months later, you can have a degree in IT or some kind of related field, and those jobs can pay pretty well. And there's a lot of need for IT workers in Dallas-Fort Worth. So there are options out there. The tough part is connecting people with those options. So that's what's got to happen.
That's a great point about those certificates too. I was just talking with a big time, helper, with people getting jobs, and she was saying the same thing. Yeah. In fact, we have her next week, right on the money. We're going to talk to her about making your LinkedIn profile better.
Yes.
And as soon as I got done with that, I was like, I need to go do some work on my LinkedIn profile because I was missing a lot of the things she said.
Get on LinkedIn. That's where the employers are at.
That's where they're looking. Will Anderson with the Dallas Business Journal. Thanks as always.
Thank you.